So late.
As usual.
Welcome back to this episode of Fit and Fuck You. I'm just kidding. I don't starting off with a bang,
Okay,
baby,
as
baby.
usual. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I think one of the things that
What is
can
this about? What are we talking about?
what do you mean?
What was the topic?
I was about to say it.
Oh, okay.
I think an unanticipated part of the fitness process is when you get into it and you start to realize that you're kind of like changing as a person, like personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, it's a broad statement, but
So, like, look at it this way. I mean, depending on your level of support, you may or may not have people in your life that are down with what you're doing, right? So, there are some people, you're getting all into your fitness and you're feeling good about yourself and you're learning kind of how to navigate some of your insecurities and you feel like you're on the up. And then someone's like, "Well, let's go have a drink," or "Let's go out to lunch." You got to lunch, you order a salad, and they're getting on you because you're not ordering whatever. And they're saying things like, "Ah, you have to go to the gym again, and you're doing so well. Can't you slow down a
mhm.
little bit?" And after a while, you're like, "Damn, I thought I was doing something better for myself, and now all these people who are like close to me, who I trusted their perspective, are like giving me a hard time about it, and it messes with your head."
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of get stuck in this place where you're stuck between who you were, which is like and you didn't like where you were insecure, you weren't feeling great, and you're kind of stuck between there and where you want to be, and you can see where you want to be, like you're on your way and you're feeling it. But all this stuff from before is like yanking you back down.
You know,
So, I mean,
what about
I'm just interested to kind of hear your perspective about it and what you would do. Like, because here's the thing.
it? Okay.
But here's the thing, like, you
What do
could
you think I'm
say
gonna say?
I don't know. But here's the thing, I think that a lot of times it's easy to say, "Bury it and move on. Who cares? Doesn't matter what other people think if
Well,
you're
you
doing a great
care.
job." Exactly. So, how do you rectify something like that?
Well, listen,
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And I'll relate that to here's how I know what you mean.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, it's a if I were to relate that process to starting a business,
Oh, god.
there was a meme or a reel out there a while back. I mean, it's not old. You want to know who your friends are? Start a business. I mean, I could that could be the end of this cast right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that those people, your support system are bad people,
No, not at all.
but they may not be the right kind of in the mindset. They may not be in the right mindset to help you at this part. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
a lot of the things I watched and really absorbed in my when I first started to do when I was in music for the first time, friggin'
Mhm.
20 shit. How old am I? Oh my god. 25 years ago, you know, when I started music performing, like I got my head wrapped around real quick with being comfortable being alone because who you start the process with may not be there when you finish. And that is all I've ever really known in terms of a mindset. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I don't like people or I'm standoffish. It's not like that. But I think a lot of folks probably think, oh, I bet you Chris don't give a shit.
Mhm.
And that's true in that it won't deter me from doing what I want to do. I care about what people think. If you one of those people who think I don't care about what other people think, bull fucking shit. Yes, you do. Yes, the
Mhm.
fuck you do.
It's just how much you're gonna let it, like, determine your next choice.
It's yeah,
How much you're gonna let it influence
Patrick
you.
Bet David. He was talking to shit. I forgot what cast he was on, but he had a comment about haters,
Mhm.
and if you were smart, you would be excited about getting haters because that's free and honest critique.
Mhm.
Thank you for pointing out what I'm not good at or what you dislike. I will look into that. And if it's something that it turns out is you need to fix or you could get better at, then you just got a real-time, valuable piece of critique that you could from which you can grow. Like you got that's thank you. You know what I'm saying? Now I'll say this, there's a lot of social presence out there that'll say, yeah, F the haters, you know, you didn't make me, you ain't gonna break me, da 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 da. And I don't think that's the right mindset either. But to say you don't care what other people think is much deeper than that face value statement in and of itself. You do care what people think. Get out of
Mhm.
here.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you didn't, then you wouldn't be worrying about likes and followers and their opinions and things. But if you're worrying about what other people think and say and do, because there's a difference between those three.
Mhm.
If you're worried about other people's perspectives,
Mhm.
I'll say that perspective word again. If you're worried about other people's perspectives, I guess you'd have to ask, what difference does it make?
Mm. Yeah.
And then why does it make a difference? Because this is, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. Back to that fear guide.
Mhm.
The first step, identify.
Mhm.
Second was perspective. So if you can, okay, I'm afraid that the people who like my family and friends, if they're gonna make fun of me for this and that, or I'm gonna start you know, music or a gym, and they're gonna hate on me for whatever it may be, or they're gonna make fun of me. Why is that? I'm gonna identify that as being something that makes me feel uncomfortable, or doesn't it makes me feel some type of way.
Mhm.
Why? Well, I wanted positive support. I wanted encouragement. I wasn't ready to hear the negatives, even if it's true. I don't want to hear an opinion that deters me from trying to find myself. I'm not ready yet to hear that. I'm not confident enough in myself yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think I think through it well, I don't know if it's you can tell me if I always think it's similar and then you're like, "No, that is not what I meant." But I think a lot of it too is like getting to understand your triggers, your specific triggers, like what sends you into like that uncomfortable feeling and being able to anticipate them. Understanding why it triggers you so that you can kind of like, fight it from the inside out, you know what I mean? Because at a point I mean, even when I started, I was like, I'm gonna make a separate Instagram account so I don't annoy people with my fitness
Yeah,
stuff.
but
It's like,
yes, it is the same thing. It is the same thing, but
"Yes, look at me."
it's so simple. It's not right?
Mhm.
Like what color are those pants?
Turquoise?
Turquoise colored pants.
Mhm.
I really like the dark blue color.
Okay.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're not the color of the pants means not your critique on color of the pants means absolutely zero to you,
Right.
right? Now watch this. What color is that?
Turquoise.
You should really wear dark, like blue colored instead because those make you look fat.
Uh, different.
Different.
Yeah.
Say all I did was add a little extra oomph to it.
Mhm.
Now you got to ask yourself if you were really aware of it, if you really were identifying the issue.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot to go into there. Are
Yeah.
you saying that to me because you think you're fat? Does it bother me that you don't know that shit? Or does it bother me because I'm afraid I feel fat and I looked that was my worst fear of buying them pants was that I was gonna look fat and it's somebody said it and it was the worst thing ever and then some because the person who said it was my friend or my
Mhm.
sister or my brother or my mom or somebody.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Eh, So like when it's just that simple.
Mhm.
Because the fact is, again, you can't take the good without the bad. You can't
Mhm.
take the wins without the losses. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get upset about it, like if you're gonna know that there are certain things with critiques that don't bother you, there's gonna be stuff that will.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do about it? It's simple. It really is. But sometimes the thing you have to identify to ensure that it's simple is what you see in the mirror, and that was the end thing I put in that. Remember
Mm.
that
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Full circle. Okay, that's interesting to me. I don't know because I feel like I hear that a lot, especially in this industry. I a lot of times I'll talk to somebody for the first time and I get like their whole life story. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's good.
It's great,
They
but
trust you.
uh, and and I always appreciate that because it helps me better understand how to coach them through things knowing where
Yep.
they've come from. But I think and that a lot of this, I think if you don't have a trainer or a coach or somebody like that in your life who's trying to look at you from that type of perspective,
Mhm.
you kinda have to learn how to do that for yourself, right? To
Mhm.
be able to identify if this makes me feel that way, like, why is that? Where is that coming from? And like you said, that's exactly what Fear Guide is
Yeah.
designed to do. Um, but I think it's just interesting to me trying to, because we watch people do this all the time, go from that point to the next point. But there's so many things in between that I think people don't anticipate. So I guess I was just interested in hearing how you would talk somebody through that.
Well, which part of it?
Well,
Because to me, that was the beginning part, and
mhm,
that if that's understood, then that should carry through the rest of the way. Like,
mhm.
if there's somebody who, like, give me an example about something that somebody said to whoever, that, like, the kind of comment that hurts somebody's progress, say midway through. Give me an example of that you were talking about. What kind of comment was said to that you know could be said to somebody midway through a progress that could really just train wreck the whole thing?
If like a real life one or just
Yeah,
something in a
why not?
film?
Just, yeah, just what I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I have one specific person in mind from here, Kiki, who she is like in the process of trying to talk herself through this,
Mhm.
right?
And she's
She
cool with, like, bringing this up, talking to me?
Yep.
Okay.
Um, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks back and forth now, but she's very much I asked her a couple weeks ago if we could go live on her Facebook, just kind
Mhm.
of show what's going on, all those things.
Mhm.
And she was nervous to do that for so many reasons, but the main one that came up for her was that she decided this year, I'm going to love myself. Like I am tired of putting myself out there for all these other people and feeling like I get nothing back. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here digging myself into the ground.
Yep.
And she's decided, no, I'm going to love myself before I love anybody else. I'm going
It's
to
the
get into
hardest thing to
fitness.
do.
It is. She goes, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to do all these things. And she's looking forward. She sees it. She's not out drinking all the time. She's taking all the steps she needs to make herself better. But she still finds herself sitting there worried about all of the things that she was before, the people in her life and what they're going to say and think. And
What things was she worried about?
I mean, a lot of it for her is, and I'm speaking on her behalf, so,
We just need to get her on the
yeah,
show,
we'll have to
but
get her in here to kinda
until
give
then, go ahead.
her perspective, but she's worried about being judged by them, like, and she hasn't named anybody specific, obviously, but just in general, that feeling, and a lot of times too, I think that's in our head, unless somebody is gonna tell you, "Hey, what you're doing is stupid," or "Your pants look dumb," or whatever,
Yep.
you can't assume that that's what they're thinking. That's asinine, you're gonna
Well,
drive yourself
well,
insane.
that's the expectation. I understand that.
I know,
Like,
but at the
when
same
Kiki first reached back, she used to train a while back,
Uh-huh.
right? And then when she first reached back out, you know, she's like, "Do you remember me?" I was like, "Of course I remember you."
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
love Kiki. She's
That
not
little she's a mat. Like, she ready to roll. You know what I mean?
you wouldn't forget
She ain't
Kiki.
she ain't afraid of shit
Yeah,
until she is.
right.
And
Mhm,
so she probably don't even know this, but and I knew that about her from the first session. It was clear as day, right? When she reached back out, I was like, hmm. I reached out to a mutual friend, the one that referred her.
mhm,
His name is Joe, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, what's Kiki's story? She good?
mhm.
Anything I need to know?
Yeah,
Same old girl? Like, she ready to roll? Like, what's you know?"
uh-huh,
I don't want to be insensitive.
right,
I want to make sure that she's reaching back out. So I did something right. Shit.
right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to break the progress. I don't want to say the wrong thing
Mhm,
for her. I know what I need to say to defend the business, and know what I can do, what we can do. But if you have an opportunity as a trainer to get the backstory, you know, and everybody has the opportunity to get the backstory, that shit's called Facebook.
yeah,
I mean, how many you wanna buy something online, you Facebook creep that motherfucker, you know
yep,
what I mean? Like, give me a
mhm.
break, okay? So, it's like a poor man's background check, but I have experience with her, and I knew she was a bulldog, right? So if somebody reaching back out, then something somewhere along the line, and she was already there, something somewhere along the line didn't work out. Life came up, COVID, whatever it may be, right?
Mhm.
So I just wanted to know, and but I knew she could take it, but I wanted to have an understanding of who I was working with.
Mhm.
And she's still here, not kicking that ass. So whatever it was that came up, perhaps I don't know for sure, but whatever it was, if that thing is still lingering, then that's something that we can revisit. But when you to be worried about people's judgment, that's unfortunately that's an approval thing, I think. And I guess I would ask her what kind of approval or lack of approval or critique on said things, what is it about that makes it so important? Is it that you've lost, 5 pounds, but not 10 pounds? Is it, you know, what you're working out in the morning instead of the evening? Is
Mhm.
it is it because is it because oh you can't hang out with us anymore, right? Are you working out again? You can't work out with us. Is that the kind of thing?
Mhm.
Or,
Uh,
or
w I'll let
I mean, if it's like, let's just say it's that kind of thing. And again, I don't know, right? But and hopefully, if she wants to, I'm down to have a live combo with her.
Mhm.
But if it's something like, well, you've changed and you're not hanging out with you always at the gym and da da da. Yeah, you're fucking right. I've changed.
Yeah.
I need to change. We need to change for change to happen. Change must occur. My shit's occurring. Fuck out of here. I need to. This is and if you were on my side, you'd back me on it,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
When you have to go to work, are they saying, "Oh, you've changed"?
Oh
No,
god.
they're not saying that, are they?
I can't even
Gee,
yeah.
because why? Because work's acceptable.
Yeah.
It's okay to work your ass off. It's not okay to work on yourself.
Yeah. No.
Why? Right?
That that's
People now get bashed, for trying new things.
oh, that kills me.
So like that's so I mean, what is it? Like if it's an aesthetics thing, if you've been working your ass off and you've lost this weight and you're able to do this, this, and this, like, and then you're not getting the support from those people, honestly, they're not the right people for this right thing. I'm not saying they're not the right people to have in your life. They might not be. I don't know. There are certainly people I could name right now that I thought for sure would back me, and they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It
I
don't mean
do.
they're bad people. They're just not right for me.
Yeah, and you walk into it sometimes thinking that people are gonna support you in the same way that you would support them,
Right.
or they're gonna support you in a new business venture the
Mhm.
same way that they supported you when
Or
your dog
perhaps,
died, and it's different.
if it's a judgment thing, maybe you're recalling an instance where you judged somebody and you're afraid they're gonna do that to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's self-reflection, that's something you gotta own up and move on from. But that's a part of the growth, like, you know what I mean? Like, we got another client who, he's going through a shit ton of weight loss, but he's been big for a very, very, very long time, and I couldn't possibly stress the slow and steady gig because it has to be done systematically.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And for somebody like like Kiki is again, she's a bulldog. When she want it, she's gonna go after it. The problem with highly emotionally charged people is it may not take much to slow them down, but it only takes one thing usually to derail the entire thing. There's one soft spot you have, usually, at least in my experience. Again, I could be wrong,
Mhm.
but for highly charged people, there's definitely something that can set you off that just makes you question everything. For me, it's the allegiance, the loyalty, the
Mhm.
that like yeah, you ain't on my side. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
like from where I grew up in the city, it's like I'm used to you're on one side or the other. You know what I'm saying? My
Mhm.
hat was cracked to the right. Okay, I'm on my city folk know what I'm talking about. So you know, I'm used to that mindset. That's just who I am. So it's like if I'm betrayed, I know I've this is gonna sound terrible. I have quote unquote matured into not trying to actively execute your face. you know, it's hard. There are sometimes like I got a list right now that man, if we was in Cro-Magnon era, yo ass would be getting clubbed over the back of the head with a rotten ass tree stump with a beaver still chomping on the end. And then I'd beat you to death with the beaver's dead body, with just the assy slap part. Just You dead already. It's just beaver ass all in your face. You know what I mean? But
No, I
I
don't.
have you
I
can you
don't.
imagine it?
I
So I got a
don't know
hater
what you mean.
talking shit. I'm gonna whoop his ass with in a Cro-Magnon day, just with a big ass forehead like this. And then I take the tree stump and kill his ass. And then I get the beaver that was chewing on the tree stump. I'm gonna kill the beaver too, just cause.
Just
And then I'm gonna grab the beaver by his little teeth, and then I'm gonna
oh
take
my
this the ass of the beaver, that little the paddle part. I'm gonna slap the shit out your dead ass. I'm gonna kill you.
god.
I don't know.
That's really intense.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's how my brain works, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody told me this
So
morning, she said, "Chris sounds aggressive." I'm like,
who said that?
"No."
Nosy ass motherfucker. Who said that? I'm not aggressive. Okay. Oh,
Passionate.
okay. No, so listen, like for me,
Oh, but
there are
that's so funny.
triggers for me.
Yes,
So
clearly.
you can imagine you can imagine social media doesn't make social media give everybody a trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay, Flash Dance, can you put your
I
shit
know.
back up? This is a PG-13, some bitch. Fuck. Or maybe not, because I
Yeah,
just caught I just talked about
says the
beating
guy
somebody to
killed.
death with a log and a beaver ass while I held him by his teeth. I did
Oh
literally
my god.
on Gary teeth. Suck a booty ass. Anyway,
Oh,
now
okay,
that you all
well, any
have the
case.
visual, that's some shit I would do. But but I have a trigger for stuff, and I think we all do.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to, if you're trying to work on you, Kiki's concept or Kiki's decision. I'm gonna love me. It's my turn. Like that is very difficult to
Wait.
say, let alone do. Now, I would say, let's give her a shot after this and say that would be the first question. Like when you said you were, it's time for you to love yourself. Did you mean that shit? Because sometimes
It's
when
hard.
the ones you most expected to be there are just not there.
Oh,
And maybe they thought that, maybe that's the thing. Maybe if Kiki's feeling guilty about it, perhaps there's somebody who, or that's for anybody, not just her, but if there's somebody who you really felt, was going to be there for you and isn't, in my experience, and it was a very tough lesson to learn, you know, I think about, did they ever depend on me and I wasn't there? Are they needing me now? Do they think that I'm dipping on them?
mhm.
But it's even, loving yourself is one thing, but putting your own aside to ask that
Oh,
question
that's
for someone else, that's even harder to do. Like loving your neighbor kind of thing. I'm not trying to get all gospel and whatnot, but honestly, that the hardest things to do are usually right. If it's easy, it's probably wrong. I've said that one too a bazillion
yeah.
times. So, I, loving the haters, you don't gotta love the haters. Just like you don't gotta love the process. The process sucks. Getting hated on sucks. It's embarrassing. It's lonely.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel that, man. I get it.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean necessarily that it's a life. It has to be. We talked about all in. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that they are enemies.
Right.
Maybe it does. I don't know. But that's for you to figure that out. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully, if she's down, I'd love to talk about this some more.
Yeah.
But if it's not all that, and she's really just doing her best, and there's people out there that are close to her, haters that are out there, like, for no reason, just hating her because they hate her. They ain't her. Like, if that's the case, to those people, my name is Chris Corres. I'm owner operator, Fit Kid Athletics and Commit Fit. I'm on the side of Kiki. You all can go fuck yourself twice on Sunday because damn you for making somebody feel bad about working on themselves. Damn you for that.
Hell yeah.
If you're a parent, damn you twice.
Oh,
Okay.
that I can't get it.
But if you all were to decide one day, you know what? I need to do this for myself, we'll still welcome you with open arms. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But if you're doing that to one of ours or to anybody for that matter, that emotional bullying, especially as an adult, you're damn you for that. That's just stupid. Assuming there's again, okay, I
Right.
don't know any other situations, but if it's just you hating, damn you for that.
Yep.
Good?
Good.
Yeah.